Hello and welcome to our 14th session on Davinci Resolve, and from this session we are going to start with working with color. So basically in Davinci Resolve we understood about the media panel, then we came to the edit panel and understood how to do some editing and some special video effects. Now from there we switch to color panel. So now we are going to understand how to do color correction and color grading in Davinci Resolve and how to use this color panel, which is one of the most powerful color management and color grading tool available in the market. So to start with, actually whatever source files are required for this lesson, it has been already uploaded and I have shared the link below this video or in the lessons files that you are going to see. Say for example, if you are seeing this on YouTube, if you come to YouTube, in the YouTube if you scroll down in the description, you have a link, and when you click on this link, this is going to open in Google Drive, and in Google Drive, now coming to Google Drive, now click on the download button, and if it asks download anyway, click on download anyway, and this will download this entire content which is around 650 MB. Click start download and this entire content will be downloaded. This is the first thing you have to do. All the source files needed for this lessons are provided here. You can download it like this, later copy this and put it in your folder where you are doing your lessons. Say for example, here in Satvik and Resolve lessons, I will come to color management and here I am going to paste this. And the very first thing is unzip this, that is this zip file. So I am going to unzip this zip file. So once I have unzipped this zip file, the resources that you see here, if I double click and open it, you can see there is a folder that is color page video part1.dra. So this is an archive of the project which we are going to restore in Resolve. So after we have made this ready, now let us come to Resolve, and that is, let us first launch Resolve. In search I will type RES, I get the Davinci Resolve here. I click open or run as administrator, you can choose anyone and wait till Davinci Resolve gets loaded into the memory. Once it is now loaded, we have to restore the archive that I have provided to you. I have provided you with a archive of files. So to restore it, you can come in this project window, right click, and you have an option here, restore project archive. So select this restore project archive and now browse to the folder where you downloaded the files. Here in color management, in color intro, we have this color page underscore video part1.dra. You need not open this folder, just select this folder and click open. Now what happens is, you will immediately see a new project added here, color page underscore video part1. Now select this project and click open. So wait, this project gets loaded, and as soon as the project is loaded, now I will see that you are in the edit tab. Here this is just a simple rough cut that has been created for you. So if you play it, you have one rhinoceros video, then a pressure video, then an aeroplane, 3 shots, and then we have a military guy walking, and you have another military shot, and later on you have another clip of a water reflection of an aeroplane and along with some flamingos moving in the sea. So these are, so totally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clips here, and this is a rough set of clips that has been edited, which we are now going to do the color grading. So to start with the color grading, I will move to the first clip here. I will just press the home button, or I will come to the beginning of the timeline, and now in the tabs here we have completed media, cut and edit. I will come to fusion later. Now let us click on color. So this will open the color palette. So this is the color panel of Davinci Resolve, and you are seeing it here with various panels. At first when you see this, it may be lot of confusing, you may get confused, oh what it is, but let us, once we start understanding each and every panel in detail, you will see how powerful is this tool and how easy it is to use it. So, to start with, now here in some cases here when you are in Davinci Resolve, in some cases you will see these tabs both with name and label, but sometimes if I right click here, if I click on show icons only, it will be showing only the icons here, and the color will represent the actual color panel. We will come back here, right click here and choose show icons and labels, it will show it with the label. So, this can be actually configured by right clicking here and choosing these two options. I will leave it at show icons and labels as now. Now, your panel should look exactly like this in the color panel, but if by any chance if this layout is not matching as it is being shown here, then what you can go do is you can go to workspace, and in workspace you have one option here, reset UI layout. So, when you click on reset UI layout, then immediately you can see this layout will be restored. Now, coming over here, you can now see, you can consider this entire Davinci Resolve screen as a big storeroom or a workshop with many tools placed over there. So, you have a lot of tools present over there, and now what we have to now do is to understand it. Let us go into these tool panels one by one, that is the tool racks one by one, and if you come to the top area, you can see that the main top area is mainly divided into three sections. The very first section here is the gallery section. See, this is the gallery section, and the gallery section is the place where we are going to create and store high resolution still images of our color graded clip. It not only stores the frame, but it will also store all the color grading information. So, that say for example, I did some color grading for this clip and later on I want to use the same grading to other clips, then I can save that entire grading as a frame in the gallery. So, for this purpose we make use of the gallery, and apart from the gallery you have lookout tables or LUTs, then you have media tools, and you have three options over here, and out of this I will keep it at gallery as of now. The second panel that we see here is the display panel, where you actually do your, when you do your color grading, the result is seen here. And this panel is an interactive panel, because this panel is going to change, all the tools present in this panel is going to change based on the tools that we have selected. We will explore this in detail as we go through the grading. And now the third panel you are seeing here is called as the nodes. Nodes can be considered as steps. So, we are, whatever grading we are doing, we are going to create these grades in number of steps, and every step here is represented. This is called as a node, and you can see there is an input node and an output node. The input node comes to this clip and the output node is going over here. Okay, let us understand this node, how it works as we do the color grading. Now, after these three panels, the next panel we can see here is the timeline panel, and in the timeline panel there are two panels. The very first panel here, you see the thumbnail of every clip that we have used in our edited sequence, and all the sequences, all the sequence thumbnails, you can see it here. And when you are seeing these clips, you can press the left that is down arrow or up arrow to move through this clip. So, when I press up arrow, you will move it back. When you press down arrow, you will move forward. And apart from this, below this thumbnail, you have a long thumbnail here with the playhead, and this is similar to your edit thumbnail. Only thing is the clips are positions in a very narrow track, and you can see here as I move, you can move through the various clips. I can just scroll this and move across, and right now I will bring it back here. So these two are called as the timeline panels. Now below is actually the main panels or the tools that we are going to work. Basically, even here this is divided into 3 sections. Remember, if you have a monitor with 1920 into 1080 resolution, and if you are seeing full screen, then you can have all these 3 panels open. But if your resolution is less than 1920, if your monitor resolution is less than 1920, then you will be seeing only 2 panels. So right now this is a 1920 into 1080 monitor. So that's why we are seeing here 3 panels, and in these 3 panels, now you can see here on the left hand panel we have all the controls, and these controls are configured on various tabs. See here you have the first tab here. If I come over here, you can click here, this is the camera raw tab, and the second tab is color match tab, the third tab is color wheels, the fourth tab is HDR grading, the fifth tab is RGB mixer, and the sixth tab is motion effects. So you have totally 6 tabs in this, and by default this color wheels tab will be open. This is one panel, and the second panel you are seeing here is again having various tabs. The very first tab is curves, then you have color warper, then you have qualifier, you have power window, you then have tracker, you have then magic mask, you then have blur, you then have key, and then you have sizing, input sizing at the end. And if you come to the right hand side, you can see here you have the keyframes, and at this point if you come over here, you have the option keyframes, you can select scopes, and you can select info. So this gives all the information about the clip, this gives the scopes, and this is the keyframe. So these 3 comes in the third panel. Now here we already saw this gallery and Luts, and you also have media pool. These 3 options are present here. Apart from this, on the right hand side also you can see you have timeline. See, the timeline now is off, now it is on. You can see this timeline. Then you have nodes. I will enable or disable nodes. Then you have effects. So if I click on effects, you can see all the available effects, and finally you have lightbox. Okay, so these are the various options present on the right hand side. And now apart from this, you also have options. That is, apart from all these panels that you are seeing, you can come here and you have 3 dots here. These 3 dots, when you click on this, you can see live preview, hover scrub preview. You have so many options. So similarly, even for this monitor window, you have so many options. Okay, and similarly for this node window also you have so many options, and below, even in every panel that you see here, you have these options available. And apart from this, when you are adjusting it, you can click and drag it to resize the windows as shown here. I can resize the windows by clicking and dragging these edges. And now in case of some panels, say for example here, if I come here to the curves panel, when I enable curves panel, you can come here in the curve panel and you have various options for this curve panel. If you come on the top and you can see this is custom, you can see curves custom, then you have curves hue versus hue, you have curves hue versus saturation, then you have curves luminance versus saturation, you have curves saturation versus saturation, and saturation versus luminance. So, you have this 7 options present over here. I will switch it back to custom. So, like this every panel has various tabs like this. See, sometimes you can clip it and make it pop up. So, pop up means you have one additional button here, and when I click on this button, say I come to the layers panel, and if I click on this button, you can see this panel pops up. I can drag it anywhere and I can make the control. I can even resize it, make it small or big, and I can resize it and use it. So, this is for popping up. If I just click here and close it, it will open automatically in its stacked panel. Similarly, even here if you come to keyframe and if you come to scopes, in scopes you can see you have a drop down. It is showing as parade where red, green and blue scopes are present separately. If I move to waveform, it will show in waveform. You have vectoroscope, you have histogram, you have CIE chromaticity. So, you have various options. I will put it back to parade as of now. And apart from this, you also have various contextual menu. Contextual menu, say I can right click here and access all these contextual menus. The contextual menus of the galleries are different. The contextual menu of this display area is different. The contextual menu, when I right click in notes area, it is different. So, like this I can get various contextual menu by right clicking on different palettes on these 3 main palettes. And now the next thing is, let us come to our color grading work. We have understood all the panels. So, now when we come for color grading, basically when we do the color grading, it is basically classified into primary grading and secondary grading. Primary grading, what it means is, primary grading is a grading we apply to the entire frame. Whatever changes we do in the grading, it will be applied to the entire frame, and this is called as the primary grading. And secondary grading is something where you are going to mask out a particular area and you are going to apply the color grades, that we call as secondary grading. And if you come back to primary grading, in primary grading you have again 2 types of grading. One is called as the corrective grading. Say for example, you have shot in the night, you have not done the white balance correctly in your camera, everything is appearing yellowish or bluish, you want to reduce blue or remove that yellow, these are called as the corrective grading. Or sometimes you might have shot in a mobile camera, the other shot may be taken in a Canon camera, the other shot might be taken in a Blackmagic camera, and because the cameras are different, the colors may change, and you want to match all those colors so that the viewer feels that everything is shot in one camera. So, these kind of matching of color and correcting some of the errors in the color is what we call as the corrective grading. But sometimes, say for example, you want to create a moonlight effect, or you want to create a candle effect, or you want to add some effect to the video, then we are going to use the creative grading. Creative grading is where something where we are not going to correct, but we are going to induce some color variations based on the requirements of the video. So, we call this as corrective and creative, and these are the 2 types of grading that we have in primary grading. So, now after understanding all these basic concepts, let us now dive into the actual grading. So, we are going to start with primary corrective grading. And for this primary corrective grading, the main panels that we use is, one is the color wheels you are seeing here, and another is the curves. So, using these two main panels, we are going to do our corrective grading. So, to start with, we are going to move to the first clip here. See that you are in the start of the clip here, and for this we are going to apply some of the grades. But before we apply, I have scopes. See, scopes are nothing but this is going to show you the level of different colors in a graphical format, and this will be very helpful when you are actually doing the grading. So, here this is right now in RGB format. You have red, green and blue, and we call this as parade format, and from parade I am going to change it to waveform, and when I change it to waveform, you are seeing this as a waveform of variation of color intensities across my image. Now, in this case, once I switch to waveform, you are right now seeing the waveform of all the three colors, red, green and blue. Now, I just want to see the luminance. I am not bothered about the color. I only want to see the luminance. Means you have one button here, settings button, and when I click on this, this will pop up a window like this, and here you can see you have RGB, CBCR and Y. Three options are there. I will switch to Y and I will disable colorize. So, when I disable colorize, you are only seeing the luminance part of the image, and this curve, if you want this curve to appear more brighter, then you can increase the brightness of this waveform by moving this to the right. See, you can increase it, and you have graticule and you can vary this. So, you have these two settings over here. I have disabled colorize and I have enabled the waveform to the maximum, and now to close this panel, just click somewhere outside and this panel will be automatically closed. Now, coming to the scopes, to understand how this scope works, basically you are seeing a waveform here, and this waveform from left to right represents the image from left to right. This graph is the graph of the intensity or luminosity of this image starting from the left end to the right end, and the vertical area of this graph represents the brightness or the intensity. 0 represents pitch dark, and here 1023 represents pitch white, and in between these things the luminance values you are seeing here. So, this represents the brightness and this represents the position on the frame from left to right. So, to give you an example, say for example, as I move from left, somewhere here you see the dark shadow area, and that is the reason why you are seeing the lowest level of luminance at this point, and as we again move, you have some dark area over here which is represented by this area of the graph, and similarly if I come to this dark area, this is represented here in this part of the graph. So, like this, the entire image is represented as a waveframe, and we are going to use this waveframe to do our color correction. Now, let us come to this color wheel panel. Now, coming to this color wheel panel, you have 4 panels here: lift, gamma, gain and offset. Let us start with offset, and in offset at the center you are seeing a point. I can now select this point, and as I move, see the image here. If I move this point to the top left, you can see it is turning reddish or yellowish. If I move it down over here, it is turning bluish. If I move here, it is turning magenta. If I move here, it is more turning green. So, I can offset the colors and adjust at any point by moving this cursor. And once I release it, if I want to reset and bring it to the center, just double click on it, and when you double click on it, it will come to the center. Apart from this, below this, you have one wheel. Here individual color is offsetted. Here overall intensity of the entire image is offsetted. So, now if I drag this, see what happens when I drag it left, you see the graph and the image, you can see the graph moving down. And if I grab it to the top, you can see the image is brightening and the entire graph is moving to the top. See, it moves to the top. If I move the other side, it moves to the bottom. And whenever you are doing this adjustment, you are not happy and you want to reset it to the original means, every panel has a button here which is called as the reset button. So, once I click on this button, you can see this has been reset and the image is now in its original position. You have this reset position on every panel over here, and you have one global reset position. Global reset position means it will reset everything when you click on this global reset. So, after this, let us continue our grading with our next session, wherein we are going to learn about other grading tools in our next session. So, let us meet in the next session. Thank you.